Alexander Lukashenko, the strongman president of Belarus, has been in power for more than 30 years. A close ally of Vladimir Putin, he's often referred to as Europe's last dictator. His main opponent is Sviatlana Tikhanovskaya, who has led the opposition since her husband, a popular dissident, was jailed ahead of the 2020 election. After leading mass protests in response, Sviatlana fled into exile in neighboring Lithuania, where she still lives. Earlier this year, Lukashenko won yet another election that was seen as rigged, but this time, the streets stayed quiet.
In 2020, after fraudulent elections, people went to the streets. We wanted to protect our votes, our voice. And this regime, they suppressed, they unleashed this terror, and keeping 4 years in a row, the regime keeps Belarusian people in total fear. I think that people in democratic countries don't even have understanding what it means to live in such tyranny. It's impossible to imagine if you don't experience this. And now when people are silenced, when people are underground, I don't want people, to be imprisoned in vain. We need people energy for a real moment of opportunities.
What do you think will bring about that real moment of opportunity?
It might be many scenarios, honestly speaking. First of all, we saw as the fate of Belarus and Ukraine are intertwined because both our countries are fighting with imperialistic ambitions of Russia. Victory of Ukraine in this war, it will weaken Putin's regime and hence weaken Lukashenko's regime. It can be internal coup d'etat in the regime. 4 years. Belarusian people and Belarusian nomenclatura, if you know this word, they see that Lukashenko is the dead end for our country, for our independence and for our sovereignty. Lukashenko is selling our country piece by piece to Russia. It might be any black swan, like collapse of Assad regime in Syria. Something like this can happen. And our task as democratic process, we have to be prepared for this moment.
So right now, in a number of countries around the world, of course, leaders and political movements are bracing for the impact of Donald Trump's new foreign policy in the U.S. How do you see that as an opposition leader in Belarus, and how might Trump's foreign policy affect Belarus and affect your movement in particular?
I want to remind to free Americans that the United States of America was always a beacon of freedom and hope for countries who are fighting for democracy. We need examples. So we are like part of this fight against dictators. And I think that I want to believe that the USA will continue help and assist those nations who are on the front line of this fight.
And under what circumstances do you hope to return to Belarus?
Look, my dream of Belarus is that my country is, first of all, a free country for people where people don't live in constant fear. And I want my children and myself, to live in the country where you understand that you're protected by the laws, you are protected by institutions, that parliament is working. I want Belarus that is not dependent on Russia. I want Belarus that is reliable neighbor for our Western countries, and not the source of constant threats and provocation as we are now. What I described to you, it's not about hope. It's about hard work. It's about constant challenges, but it's about also confidence that we will reach this. Because I see how, despite all the brutality of the regime, despite all the difficulties, Belarusian people are not giving up.